ago, Bruce's Mill, in record-setting time, captured the Prince of Wales Stakes. The powerhouses of Canadian racing have returned for the gallop on the grass. Kinghaven is here with a talented filly named Aliwow, a turf specialist.
Aliwow is a treat. She is just a beautiful filly to train. She's very, very uncomplicated, and she's got a tremendous amount of heart and ability, and it's everything that, you know, a trainer is looking for in a horse. And you know, she's just a lovely filly to be around.
Frank Stronach's bold, brash Basquian, winner of the Queen's Plate, runner-up in the Prince of Wales, is here to tackle the mile-and-a-half turf.
I don't think the distance will bother me. I think my horse can run all day. I don't think the turf is a problem. He ran fairly well on the turf twice last year, and he's better. I mean, physically, he's stronger than he was 3 weeks ago. So, if anything, maybe the test of time and the toughness, for him, he'll answer that. You know, he'll say, yeah, I can do it.
Another mainstay of Canadian racing, Samson Farm, is represented by last year's 2-year-old Canadian champion, Comet Shine.
He's in absolutely excellent order, touch wood. There's no reason for him not to run 110% to his maximum ability. I'm thinking maybe with the blinkers off, that'll suit him, the mile-and-a-half will suit him, and I'd expect him to run a major performance.
Performance, endurance, a 1.5-mile turf test for Canadian 3-year-olds. It's the 104th running of the Breeders' Stakes. A live shot of the lush yet soaked turf course here at Fort Erie, one of the most beautiful infields you'll see anywhere in North America. However, we received about 12 hours of rain overnight. Sprinkling, in fact, has continued all through the day, but finally, the good news is the sun is starting to glimpse through. But rain certainly is a big part of the story today already for the Breeders' Stakes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Terry Leibel. Welcome to our coverage as we continue the Triple Crown Series. We've seen the Queen's Plate, we've seen the Prince of Wales, and now it is the Breeders' Stakes. This is a turf race. Normally, we are at Woodbine for it. However, delay in the construction of that new course. There you see it there. In fact, I watched the last of the sod going down on Friday. They tell me this will be the finest turf course in North America, and believe it or not, looking at those shots, you wouldn't think it, but on September 10th, they're hoping horses will be galloping on it. We will for sure see the horses out on it later in the fall when we cover the Rothmans in October. Now, I've mentioned the rain. It is already a big factor today because it has forced the scratch of the morning line favorite. That's the filly they call Aliwow. Kinghaven deciding not to send their talented 3-year-old out on what really is a wet turf course. Dan Kenny is standing by. He'll momentarily talk with Roger Atfield, who trains that filly. But joining me now is my colleague and expert, Jim Bannon. And Jim, you know, we always talked about horses running on the dirt and then moving them to the turf, and then you throw in all this rain. It does open up a host of new possibilities.
Well, it's kind of good news, bad news, Terry. The great news is that the new turf course at Woodbine, which we were just seeing, is going to get plentiful rain. And, of course, it needs that to sprout right now. The bad news is that it also rained on this turf course here at Fort Erie. And, of course, when rain gets into a turf course, it acts like glue because it just stays there. Unlike the dirt where it will run right through and it becomes fast again, this will have lasting effects, and that makes often tricky footing for the horses. Some love it, some can't handle it at all. There is an adage in racing that unless you try a horse on the grass, you never give up on it. And, of course, even when we're late in the Triple Crown Series, this is the first grass race, so we still have developing stars.
We got 5 horses, and I suppose you could say that Aliwow's misfortune in terms of the scratch may very well be this field's good fortune.
Maybe Basquian in particular, as you say, but I was talking to Steve Stavro just before we went on air, and he threw his hands up in the air and said anyone can win under these conditions.
He should know. Do you remember when Bemberb upset Ali Deed? And it was right here at Fort Erie, so he'll know all about giant killers. All right, we'll continue to tap your knowledge as you introduce us to the field and set your morning line odds.
2 Triple Crown veterans face 3 rookies in the Breeders' Stakes. Kinghaven Farm's outstanding Aliwow was to be the first filly to make this year's Triple Crown roster, but she has just been scratched because of the soggy turf. Interestingly enough, Aliwow's latest to win in the Najana Stakes came over similarly soggy turf. Basquian's challenge today, handling the
fans' favorite, This is Walenda from Dogwood Stable at 2-1. $90,000 Keeneland sale purchase for Dogwood Stables, earned over $1.1 million. Won the Super Derby last fall. Craig Perrette rides for trainer Frank Alexander. Perrette in the